So intuition is just like our browser, but better. And hear me out as I kind of go through all of this because it's one big topic, and I want to break all of it down, at least from my perspective. I'll talk way more on this on my podcast, and I'll put it in the right order in which you should listen to it. But for now, on my social media, we'll probably just do a series where we kind of go into different aspects of it. You could also leave your comments, and let's have some interaction going about what source is and how we can interact with it, and how we then each individually interact with it. Because we all are living in our own unique interface of whatever reality is, right? What we do know is that each of us individually acts as small gears of a greater mechanism, each of us observing with the senses we have available to experience the entire experience that is our life. That greater mechanism is both everything possibly perceivable and non perceivable, and everything impossibly perceivable and non perceivable. But that's just one whole big greater mechanism. Now let's get back into the aspect of the self, the ego, the us, the experiencing through what we only could observe. So we have our senses, we have taste, touch, smell, hearing, sight. And then there's the non-physical senses that we have, which is, emotions, how we feel, the different ways in which we feel emotions. And we also know that through feeling, we get thoughts, because from one feeling, you could have 1,001 different thoughts coming from one different feeling. But then feelings are tied to from the perspective of the chakras, I like that perspective because it really breaks down the different emotions that we feel and the ways in which it's balanced and shown in a sense of polarity, negative or positive. Example, the first three chakras, the first four chakras are our stability, our root. It's either fear, shame, guilt, control, anxiety, worry, or anger, hatred, pride, jealousy. All of those except guilt are emotion, but guilt is something I think man made from Christianity to propel or perpetuate God as something bad onto people, but that's a whole different topic. So when we get into emotion and we're able to balance emotion and no longer allow the thoughts to come up negatively impacting us, source in the greater mechanism, intuition speaks to us as an answer. It gives us the answer, just like when we go onto our web browser and we search on the internet for something, and we click, uh, we ask a question, we click search, and a whole bunch of different stuff comes up. And we have to search through each one by using our intellect and rationale and see what's right or what's wrong and making judgment based off of an educational bias. The more we tap into intuition is the less we go into intellectualism, because the more we tap into intuitive knowing. See, if you are a part of the mechanism that is everything, it means you have access to everything, and everything that is not also to be able to tap into what is right or what is true for you from your point in your experience, which is a whole different topic in and of itself. So we'll not get into that right now, but intuition talks to you with a one word answer, and it's very subtle. But once you pick up on it, you need to be able to be quiet enough mentally to sit down and seek deeper understanding from that one word and then extrapolate the meaning from that. If you don't notice it and your mind is too busy talking, worrying about everything that's, from a negative cycle, fear, shame, guilt, anxiety, you're worrying about a bill that you have to pay, you're worrying about that exam that you're probably not going to pass, or that exam that you have to study that's coming up for, and you don't think that you're going to be ready enough for it, or a job interview. There's always something happening in the environment that's going to have you thinking or worrying or preoccupied there, where thoughts are going to be generated from the feelings. But when we move ourselves away from it and we surrender to the flow that is our life, we no longer hold on to that narrative. We let go and we allow the mental clarity, that space for intuitive knowledge to come in. And then the only challenge for us then, really, which by the way, that entire thing is a big challenge, but the new challenge then would be asking the right question to get the correct answer, because it all starts with intention. If the intention is off and the perspective is just a bit different, it creates an entirely different answer or result. If we go to the intention, the root of something, and we shift the perspective, the entire outcome changes. And this is the same thing for what we do with trauma in learning how to quiet the mind, because if in trauma your perspective of something was something negative, and as a baby that's how you experience it, it creates that feeling, that core memory, and every time you feel that emotion, it builds on it, it builds on it, it builds on it. And this is how trauma works. The easiest thing ever If you go to a therapist, you'll have to work through each experience. But if you go like we do a guided meditation, we go directly to the roots of it. We see what happened from an adult's perspective now that you're an adult. We shift the perspective of what happened and the way that we react to the stimulus, the emotion that comes up. We no longer are triggered in the same way. We are still triggered, but we're able to relax and say, you know what, instead of reacting now, I'm going to just observe that emotion. I'm going to observe how I feel about it and observe how I then choose to act on it or not act at all, and then create a whole new different cycle or situation. And this is literally just quantum leaping. Okay, so I talked a lot about a few things in this video that I think I'll have to redo and really expand on certain points. If there's any part in particular that you want to know, you want to talk about more, let me know. I'll be happy to make a video on it and just like yap. Love you. Have a good day.